Mom dies pregnant. The next day, her sister visits her grave and gets shocked. A shocking moment in a recently surfaced video captured a deceased pregnant woman gave birth to a baby in her grave. A dead woman could give birth two ways to a live child. The first is after a brain death. Sometimes bodies with life support can continue to function even after doctors pronounce brain death. There was a case that made the news recently about a woman who gave birth to a healthy child after being pronounced brain dead. The other is via C-section. Very soon after the death of the mom, when the mom stops breathing, the baby, which receives oxygen from mom's blood, also starts to die. Death from lack of oxygen can be very fast. There is a very narrow window between mom's death and fetus death where a baby could potentially be born. If we assume that giving birth just means having a child, then a woman could have a baby via a surrogate after her death, potentially many years after her death if she froze OVA during her lifetime. Post-mortem deliveries where a woman has died and a live infant is birthed vaginally is extremely rare. One case where there was a woman that killed herself during active labor and the baby was delivered. There is controversy. If the woman still had a heartbeat, so would not be considered a post-mortem delivery. The baby gets oxygenated blood from its mother through the umbilical cord when the mother stops breathing, which is what happens when she dies. The fetus quickly runs out of oxygenated blood too, and it dies too. This will happen within a few minutes after the mother's heart stops. If a pregnant woman dies at, say, at least 7 months gestation, the baby would have to be cut out of the woman's body immediately and quickly. If pulled out quickly enough, the baby might survive. In some cases, a woman has been kept on life support with an artificial heartbeat and oxygen in order to give the fetus time to develop enough to survive, and then they pull the plug on the dead mother. Losing a loved one is without a doubt one of the most difficult ordeals in a person's life, even more so if the death involves a baby. It was most certainly a difficult time for that family and especially her sister, who decided to visit her grave and put some flowers. But there was another shocking accident. What a crazy world. A rural community in Eastern Cape is stunned and baffled after a dead woman gave birth inside a coffin. The bizarre coffin birth has left some people crying witchcraft after a deceased 33-year-old mother of 5. Nam Valizo, no me santo matoe Mathiasi village. The best part of life is dying to the past and getting reborn to the present. Nature of mind is emptiness, but we keep on gluing so many stuff complexity that we forgot to live the moment fully. Death gives realization that everything is so temporary and it has to end anyways, so why to waste time in becoming unhappy sorrow? Why don't we just share and care and make others' lives better? All your enemies are going to die anyway, so why bother about them so much? A woman named Novalizo from South Africa had complained of breathlessness for a couple of days, after which she suddenly passed away. She was the mother of 5 other children at her home in the village of Mathiasi in South Africa's Southern Cape province, as presented by family members. She neither nor anyone else was aware that she was pregnant before her death, so it came as a big surprise to find a baby. After 10 days, she had died. The mother's organism is programmed in such a way to ensure that the baby survives even if the mother had passed away. In this specific case, even if the baby which was born was still alive, its health could have been affected by the mother's illness which caused her death. Either way, the cold temperature within the mortuary, which is used to not allow corpses to start decaying, is what most probably killed the baby. There is no need for the mortuary to be checked as the people inside the fridge are dead, and no one would have expected a baby to be born out of a dead mother. The family of the deceased mother had been devastated by this news. Some of the elder siblings believed that it had something to do with witchcraft. The mother had been buried with her deceased newborn. The company offering funeral services assured to check from now on and to ensure if the deceased person is pregnant in order to avoid such cases in the future. This is truly a unique case. Is it possible to give birth after death? The question that everybody had been asking after this case had gone viral was whether it would be possible for someone who had died to give birth, especially after so many days. What many call coffin birth is medically known as post-mortem fetal extrusion. It occurs during decomposition of the body, when tissues become depleted of oxygen and gases such as carbon dioxide and methane are released, as medical experts explain. At the same time, organ tissues are weakened, and the mix of the gases and weakened tissues causes the torso and limbs to become bloated. A few days after death, gas in the abdomen may cause the uterus to prolapse and the fetus to be expelled from the body. However, as experts have stressed, there have been no records of a baby surviving following a coffin birth. How did the girl's family react to the news? A fresh tragedy, while rare, it does happen, and the staff workers at the funeral directors have noted that in their more than 20 years' experience, they've never heard of a dead woman giving birth. The case baffled many who came across the story, even the family of the 33-year-old woman. However, what might have shocked and stunned them at first, it had soon left the family of the woman even more grief-stricken, especially her 76-year-old mother. Mandesla Mehta, woman's mother, speaks out, having just gone through the stress of losing her daughter and unborn grandchild. The 76-year-old then had to learn that the baby was in fact in a way born. But of course it was stillborn. Speaking with the media, she said that she wants educated people, once you know better, to help cool down their emotions and explain to them how it was possible for a dead woman to give birth. She told them that she is now over 70 and has never heard of such a thing, and asked why such a thing was happening to her child. Witchcraft, the cause of all the grief in the Eastern Cape, or where the family are from. In recent years, there have been many crimes and death related to suspected witchcraft. Even as recently as March 2020, an elderly woman was drowned in her village after local men had suspected her of witchcraft. As a result of this, many elderly people have been relocating from their villages in fear of meeting the same fate. Those who believe in witchcraft had suggested to Noma Valizo's family that maybe it was that led to their dead daughter giving birth 10 days after passing. Though, as the Daily Mail had reported, they had ignored those suggestions. The funeral also, despite the suggestions to take precautions with the body in case that it was all a result of witchcraft, the family went ahead with the funeral. The mother and child were laid to rest in one coffin, which was later cremated. There had been no further updates about the gender of the baby and whether the family had decided to name it. In addition, while this story might sound unbelievable, there had been some cases of women who had passed away with the help of medicine, bringing their pregnancies to term and giving birth to healthy babies. It's not clear whether the baby's life could have been saved, and doctors provided different treatment when the mother fell ill. Children born 123 days after mother declared brain dead. Medical science has progressed so much that it managed to keep alive a brain-dead pregnant woman for 123 days before delivering her twins via an emergency C-section. Back in 2017, the story of 21-year-old Franklin da Silva Samplani Padilla from Brazil had caught the attention of heartstrings of internet users. The woman was pronounced brain dead after suffering a stroke while 9 weeks pregnant. The doctors and the woman's fiancé decided to keep the woman on a ventilator to save the 9-week-old embryos after their hearts continued to beat inside their mother's womb. Their father, Muriel Padilla, had described the birth of his children as a miracle after the doctors made it clear to him that they had no hope of the living ones surviving. The twins, a boy and a girl, were born at 7 months and kept in incubators for 3 more months before being given the all-clear and being discharged from the hospital. Woman brain dead for 3 months, gives birth to baby. A similar situation took place across the Atlantic in Portugal back in 2019. International sportswoman Catarina Secura had suffered an asthma attack when she was 19 weeks pregnant and was put into an induced coma. However, her condition deteriorated, and within days the doctor had declared her brain dead.